Hello, everybody. This is your instructor, Dr. McLaughlin. I wanted to create a little video that might help you think about APA style for your final wiki project and to kind of talk a little bit about what the final project should look like. I know some people have had some questions about it, and I've tried to address those in emails and in the description of the assignment, but sometimes talking about it can help a little bit. So first, what I want to do is to talk about APA style. APA style is one of the things that students lose points on most in these kinds of assignments, and I wanted to address some of that with you. I provided a link for you from APA, American Psychological Association, and here they provide reference examples and how those might be formatted. If you scroll down, you will see a whole variety of sources that you may want to put into a reference list. The references that you'll be finding for this project are going to be from primarily two different categories. One, you'll have your textbook that you'll need to put in your reference list, and that would be under books, references, and we'll look at that later. But the main one that I want you to really focus on are these journal article references. So part of the requirement for this project is that you have at least 4 empirical articles for this project. One article for each of the different domains of psychology. That would be social, cognitive, emotional, and physical domains. Now, how do you know if your article is empirical? I also, in the announcement, will provide a link to this site that I think this site kind of lays it out in a sort of straightforward way. How do I know if an article is empirical? One of the main ways to know if it's empirical is to look at the article and see if it includes an introduction, method, results, and discussion. So empirical research is research that is original. And so it's research that has they've observed something for the first time and they're documenting it, or they've conducted some kind of an experiment or a study of some sort. Maybe it's a correlational study, but they'll provide some kind of results and discuss those results, and they will talk about the methods for data collection. Sometimes it's, like a standard research that you might know, but sometimes like in cultural research, there might just be observations of behavior, and then they would document those observations of behavior. Things that don't include, that aren't part of empirical research are things like a review of the literature, if they want to, there might be like theoretical papers that might talk about theories or development of theories. These are fantastic pieces of work, but not empirical research. And while that work can inform your project and you're welcome to use it, you still have to have an empirical article. Okay, so here they provide an example. Here is an article, and you can see they have an introduction. Well, this is not the introduction, this is up here, the abstract, but they'll have an introduction. They've highlighted a little bit of it there. Here they've highlighted their methods section. It's clear, it's titled methods, the results section, and then the discussion section. Now, when you're reading these, I don't expect everyone to be able to read the results section and know what maybe all the complicated statistics are. That's okay. For when you're just beginning to read literature, I recommend reading the introduction. It gives you the background of why they're doing the research. And then I recommend for students to read the discussion section, the end of it, second, to see what their final results are and what the researcher is trying to, what their final findings are. And then you can apply those findings to your project. And then you can go back and look at the methodology and see, how did they collect data if you're interested in that. And as you learn more about research and doing statistics, you'll become more informed about what to read in those sections. So that's how you know if it's empirical. Let's go back to our reference link. So now we have our journal article reference. So one common mistake that undergraduates make is that they format a journal article reference as if it was taken from a website. And while you are getting the article online, you are not getting it from a website. A website is something that's like a website for like cooking instructions, or maybe just general sort of information about whatever a topic might be. There could be a general website. The CDC has a website, and if you pull information off that website, that would be formatted as if it's from a website. But even though you're getting these articles online, you want to reference them as if they are from a journal article, because in fact they are, since you can order the journal and they'll print it for you and send it to you. Here are a different variety of journal articles. I recommend just going with the first one. It is going to be the most common. Rarely will you see a retracted journal article, monographs. That's going to also be uncommon. But here we have the main APA style for a journal article. So notice we have the authors first, then the year, and the year is always in parentheses, and the authors are by last name. Then we have the name of the article. So Emotions in Storybooks, a comparison of storybooks that represent ethnic and racial groups in the United States. One thing I wanted to point out that's a common mistake is that students often capitalize every word in the article title, but in fact that's incorrect. While you might see that in the final printed version, that's not considered APA style when you're putting it in a reference list. And so notice that the first word is capitalized, and then also the first word after the colon is capitalized, or any other important words like United States, because those are proper nouns. So make sure you have that formatted correctly. Then you follow that with the journal title. And here we have, this article was published in Psychology of Popular Media Culture. And so notice that all of the words are capitalized, and they're also in italics. And then we have that followed by the issue number, followed by the page numbers. And then last but not least, the DOI. And the DOI is just simply the where you can find it on the internet. Now, when you cite, you're going to be citing your articles in the text that on your wiki page, and your citations should look like this or like this. So most of you will have it like this unless you talk directly about the article. For example, if you say Grady et al. Or Grady and others said blah, 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 then you would write it like this. But if you just say X, Y, and Z, and then at the end of that sentence, you would just cite it like that. So this is a nice little example because it shows you not only how to reference it, but also how to cite it. So this is going to be the most commonly used reference for your project. I also provide a link, which I hopefully many of you have used it, for finding research. This is a video that I made prior, but let's go to the assignment. The final wiki submission will be an extension of the profile that you discussed from the first assignment. And what I want you to do is to take that short little profile, and you're going to have at least four different sections that follow that discuss the different domains and how those different domains might be occurring for the person that you are writing about. Now, one common mistake in that profile, you all expanded on the person that you're writing a profile on, and you're doing a great job on that. So that's fantastic. Some of you expanded a little more than what's necessary. So for instance, you don't need to write in the profile write-up what physical, cognitive, social, and emotional things they might be experiencing. That's what you'll be writing about in the body of the wiki. All you need to write about in the profile is just what is their environment like? Who are they? What are their demographics? And what might their environment kind of be like? So for example, one thing I don't put very explicitly in very many profiles might be like sexual orientation or gender identity. And so if you wanted to make assumptions about that, then you're welcome to do that. Or for some of the adults, I put that they might have 3 children, and I don't necessarily say what the genders are of those children, and you can expand on that if you want to. Um, so for the different sections in your wiki project, you'll be expanding on the physical aspects of your person. And I want you to really think about who is your person and what is their life like. And so what physical changes are happening for them. For a lot of adults, those changes are happening slowly and they might not be experiencing them very boldly, but what's happening physically? Um, Cognitively, what's happening in for the way people think. Um, you could think about cognitive disorders if you want to. Maybe there are some cognitive disorders that are common for people in your age or gender. Um, Also, when you're thinking about the cognitive aspects of that person, think of things like memory, attention, speed of processing. So as we age into our 60s and 70s, speed of processing goes down. Are there any language changes, learning? These kinds of things are all cognitive aspects. The social aspects of a person would include things like, impacts of family, sibling, peers, friends. What is their social life like? If you have a 5-year-old, what is a social life of a 5-year-old? If you have a 3-year-old, do 3-year-olds have friends? What kind of play might they be engaging in? What are their relationships like with other people? And then for the emotional aspects, you can think about, changes that might be happening emotionally, but also this is a place to explore any sort of psychological disorders that are beyond just like cognitive disorders or any physical disorders. So emotional disorders might be things like depression or anxiety. And so if there are psychological um, issues that a person of this background might be experiencing, what might those be? But you can also just look at, emotionally what's happening. Are people who are 76 generally happy? Or, if they've been a cranky person their whole life, are they still a cranky person or more cranky or less cranky? So explore these different things, and your textbook will be, I suspect, your primary source of information, and then your additional sources will allow you to extrapolate a little bit more. You can have more than 4 scientific articles. That's perfectly acceptable, but you have to have at least one for each of the domains. And then your final project will look something even like what I've written here, where you'll have your profile at the top, which you all have done. You'll have not headers like this. This is an APA style, but you'll have headers with content underneath them. And then at the bottom, you'll have your APA reference list. All right, hopefully this helps a little bit. I will, in the announcement, I will provide links to how do I know if I have an empirical paper, and I will provide another link for the journal articles here so that you can look at your APA style again. I hope this was helpful. Take care, and good luck with your final project.